Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm pleased to show you how to make this card today. This is a fancy fold, a modified Z fold. And this is what it looks like when it's opened. And you can see that it's two Z's actually, but it's a little different than some of the others. So let's get started. This month I'm focusing on the Simply Succulent stamp set bundle. And so you'll see that in our next video. This first piece is a gray granite that is 4 1/4 by 11, and it's scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So we will fold it in half at the 5 1/2 mark, and then we will fold this back to get our first Z on the 2 3/4 inch. We'll give it a little burnish. Next we will attach our pieces, and I will have all the measurements below. So the first piece is rich raspberry, and I'm using this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So we will adhere this one. Oh, my tape's going to give me grief. I'm just going to use my other tape runners today. I see my Seal Plus is just about empty, so this is all I have right here. So you get the clicking, I'm sorry. So we will put this one on right in the base of the card. Then I have a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 of In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and it has some sweater design on one side, and this is sort of a marbly tile kind of a look, but it just gave it a nice subtle background. Put that on. And then the next piece, I'm going to fold this forward and back, and then this piece will get a 2 1/2 by 4 inch piece of rich raspberry. Okay, I can't pick it up. There we go. And that goes right here. We'll put that on. And then this is actually a piece of designer paper from the Peony paper, but it just has a little bit of design to it. It's very subtle. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't even see it on camera. But it's the perfect color, and it's just enough design in there so it doesn't fight with the actual focal point of it. Okay, so that's our base card. Now for our next Z, we need a piece of rich raspberry that is 3 by 9, and I've scored it at 3 and 6, and now we will make a Z. We'll fold one forward and one back, and that's how we get our Z. So now that it's let me see, I gotta make sure I do it the right way. Okay, so it will go flat this way, open, and like that, so that you decorate it correctly, especially if you have a pattern that is one direction. So this is another piece of the designer paper, the In Good Taste, and that we're putting right on the top piece. And then we will open it up, and on this piece for our sentiment, or our not sentiment, our where you can sign it, this piece is actually a piece of shimmer paper. It is a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch piece of shimmer paper, because the white was too white and the Very Vanilla was too vanilla-y, too yellow, and it matches this paper perfectly. So now that we have our pieces on there, I'm going to close it up again, flip it over, and put adhesive on the back. Okay, and just make sure that you have it correctly. We're going to be putting it on this way so that this opens the same way as the other one does. So I'm centering it on the back of the card, just center it on there, like so. Then I'm going to open this up, close this, and move that back, and it'll look like that. Then I'll take my adhesive, and I'm putting it 2 rows of adhesive on the right side here. So you can see, there we go. You can see the adhesive, just 2 rows on the right side. So now we will just push that closed, and we have our double Z. Now this will not lay flat. This part will not lay flat when it's fully open, just so that you're aware of that. But it makes it nice when you want to stand it up. And so that's how the actual technique is. Now we'll decorate it. And for this card, again, we're using the succulent bundle. So I have a couple pieces. I'm using the pot from the succulent bundle. Let me show it to you. This is the stamp set. It's called Simply Succulents, and the dies are, I'll show you these again later, but these are the dies. You get 2 of them in the pack. We'll be using this fancy one in another video, and then this is the dies that I'm using for this card. And if you're not aware, I always take a picture of my dies when they're new and adhere it to a piece of magnet. There's a magnet under here, and then I just can take them off the tape, and then I always know what I have and what I'm even missing. So this card I'm using the small die, and I'm using the pot and this flower and this aloe one. So I'm using quite a few of them. And for the stamp, I'm using the pot and the succulent and the thanks. So for the pot, I just took some gray granite. This is dark gray granite, and I'm just putting a couple streaks, and it dries pretty light, but it just gives it a bit of a shadow on there. And that's all you need to do for that one. For the flower or the succulents, I stamped 4 of them actually in what color? Mint macaron, and I cut them out with the dies, and then I took the rich raspberry stamp pad, squeezed the lid to get some color in there, and I colored it with my water painters. And these water painters are really neat. They come 3 in a package. We have a skinny tip, a medium tip, and I love this brush tip for watercoloring. It has a nice broad brush. Now, one note about these water painters is they open opposite of what a normal paint, well, anything normal. So normally you would turn it to the right, but these, to open, you have to turn it to the left. And just something to note. So if you get these and you're trying to open it the way you would normally open something and it's not working, just give it a twist the other way and it should work just fine. Another comment that people have been making about these painters is that they don't well, they don't work, they'll say, but the water doesn't flow out. There's two, it says push. I don't even think close up you can see that. But it says push on both sides. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold on that push. This one's already flowing. You're going to hold on the push and not squeeze it hard, but you're just going to hold it until you see some drops come out. And then you know that it'll be working just fine. So you don't have to squeeze it and go crazy and try to get a lot of water out of it. If you just gently hold it, squeeze it, and wait for the water to drip. So to color the ends of these, the succulent, I'm just taking the razzleberry and I'm using the top of my lid and I'm just like flicking it on the top of each of these little leaves. In the middle, I'm just kind of, you don't have to be real particular, and I'm just going to do half of this because this will go on the inside one and that one we're cutting. And they don't all have to be the same color, and that's sort of why I'm using the brush, so that they get a little variation, so they look a little more, I don't know how realistic it is. So I'm just going to do those right this minute, and then I'm cleaning off my brush on a wipe. You just wipe it until you get the color off. And then I just want to show you, if you use blends with this, I'm using a, let's see, this is light rich raspberry. If you use a blend, how much darker it gets. So you can see the difference by brushing it or painting it with the ink. So you can see how much darker that is. So it's your preference on what you'd like to use, but I think it looks neater with the lighter and the variable rather than the dark with the markers. Okay. So now the pot, I'm just going to put that flat in the center of my front portion. Then I'm taking the aloe vera plant, I guess that's what this is supposed to be, and I'm just adding a little bit of the tape runner, and that can actually go on next. It does not need to go in the pot, it can go on top of the pot because we'll cover it with the other ones. You need 3 of them. I already painted them, so you don't have to watch me color. And then we will pop these up. So you just need 1 pop dot, dimensional on each. Oops. Okay. And we'll take that off. And then we just put 1 on the left of the pot, 1 on the right, and then 1 in the center above. 3s are always good, always an odd number. Then I have a little bow that's in the linen thread, and I like to use these paper pumpkin dots that come in the paper pumpkin kits. It seems to work better than the other glue dots. Plus I don't have any of those right here. So this, I take it off the little sheet and I'm putting it right in the center of my flowers. Take off the top part and then add my bow. I did try dyeing the bow in green, in the what color is this green? Shaded spruce with a blend, but it was too much green, so I'm just leaving it plain. The last step is putting on the thanks. The second to last step, I guess. So here's the thanks. I embossed it with white embossing powder, and now I'm just putting a glue dot or a dimensional on the back on the left side. I'll show you that, why on the left side only. Oops. No. Okay. So we're putting it on the left side only because we're sort of anchoring it just on the left side so that it pops over and it just kind of fills the card. So that is our card. I will show you another one that I made using some of the Celebration, unfortunately that's over, and a stamp set, but this one is another example of that particular card. Oh, I forgot to put in the center. So we have our little fourth flower, and so what I'm doing with that, I'm cutting it, so I'm cutting off those ones that I did in the marker. You can see how much it lightened up though. And then I'm cutting off another, not half, just a portion of it, and that will get glued right into the corner on the right side, like that. There we go. Now it's finished. So I hope you enjoyed this technique, and have a great day and go make one.